first question, how did your production skills develop or integrate over time? Yeah, so to be honest, I used a lot of different editing softwares. I struggled a lot in the beginning to actually edit. I feel like most people do too. It's just something new that I had to learn, and it doesn't matter when I put my mind to it. I eventually figured it out. So I started with Filmora 9, and then I actually moved on into CapCut eventually. I realized that Filmora 9 was missing a lot of different things, primarily for production and editing software, because I was the editor for a group. So I tried involving different types of editing techniques such as cuts, reflashes, and splits and dissolves. But honestly, Filmora 9 was just doing it for me. On top of the video quality being also drastically lower than it was, I actually need to transition to something much better and something that can help me produce something more acceptable. So yeah, I did that transition into CapCut, and once I did go into CapCut, I mean, it wasn't completely smooth sailing, but I managed to finesse my way around it and go around certain things to produce something that was actually not terrible, but something that I could be proud of. So yeah, I also struggled a lot with this scenery and filters. In the beginning, we were really short manned, and we didn't have a really good scenery to go to here in Miami. So I decided to go with a filter that would try to give some type of ambiance or provide some type of mise en scène towards the film. So I implemented different types of I left different little mise en scenes and little how do I say this, filters in it to give it that impression that, yeah, okay, this is definitely a sports drama. So in most sports dramas, there is some type of highlighting and low lighting before the film begins. I took this into account and I obviously implemented them. So I implemented different types of editing techniques, which were lowering lighting, higher lighting in certain pivotal moments in the film. Especially when that shove came in, I ultimately lowered the lighting there because we were trying to transition to something much darker, which would be Anderson getting hurt or being put out of commission permanently, or from what it seems. So we ended that in there, and then before ultimately Roger comes in and basically makes fun of him, the coach comes, splits it up, and in that moment you really see the favoritism in the film. You see who's doing what. I also incorporated a lot of different shots that weren't there before. So when we were filming, we actually had this storyboard that was listed before. We had to change certain things because certain people weren't there, and also certain things weren't working on my editing software to place it in that to correctly film it and edit it in that way. So we had to really trial and error this film. There was definitely a lot of trial and error, definitely a lot of hardships throughout this film, and a lot of tweaks and things we had to do. But most of all, I mean, I think we got it done. I think we did the job, and I think my production definitely developed over the last couple weeks in filming this. Our rough draft was a disaster. I mean, the coach didn't even fit the mise en scène description. So there's definitely a lot of progression from the last one. And yeah, I mean, there's pretty much not that much else to be said. And yeah, this is my third CCR. Thank you.